And good morning. This is Things You Might Not Have Heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and I'm ready to present to you the weekend's latest in information, politics, current events, and pop culture news. This is your go-to supplemental source for both mainstream and unconventional news stories that you may have missed, with a little added context to the mix. Now, today, we've gone overboard. We've got 11 stories, actually technically 12. We'll get into that as we get into this one, but the regular 10 stories of the weekend are coming up, plus a little extra. And if you're watching the video, you're seeing in the teaser graphic, we are going to talk about the death of Matthew Perry. We'll have that and 11 other stories to mix into you for this morning, get you started for your news update or afternoon or evening, whenever you actually pick up this story. Make sure you're following us on our website. This is a conversationproject.com, so we can give you more details on how this thing works and spend less time here explaining it and more time out there doing it. Although we will have a chance to explain things when we go through the feeds, how you get stories in, the vetting process, when we get to after the headlines, and some fun stuff to get you to the day. So stick around for all the great stuff we have on this day. Today, of course, is October 30th, 2023, Monday. Halloween coming up tomorrow. Spooky day happening, so we'll deal with that. But in the meantime, let's get into the news stories that we have laid for the weekend that were, of course, vetted by U.S. Conversational, curated for me for this morning update. Let's get to the first story headline. It reads like this. Law enforcement officials tell Associated Press that Maine mass killing suspect has been found dead. The original posting from the original headline that we got early in the weekend when we got news that the suspect was actually killed in the mass shooting in Maine. Robert Card actually killed himself. Self-inflicted gunshot wound. 10 p.m. news conference scheduled by police basically confirmed what happened. A 40-year-old from Baldwin, Maine, was taken to a mental health facility in mid-July after commanders became concerned with him about during training. And the odd thing is, we're getting new news that actually when he went home, he was a member of the reserves. When he went home, he got a call from his, or for police, from his commanders, from someone on base to say, check in on him. He had been not doing well. There was a lot of families saying that he wasn't doing well. So what we're seeing are some signs of things were missed that, could have been picked up to see that he was not doing as well as we thought he was. The note he left behind wasn't so much a suicide note, but an explanation, if you will. And so there are still details that need to be worked out in this situation. Why it happened, how things happened, everything. The gun purchase was legal, the situation going on. And at the moment of the posting, more things popped in the news to sort of block this out. There was no notification on whether he was fired or had actually left or laid off. What his deal was at the plant where he was found in the container. We just knew that he no longer worked there. More details will come on this one as we milk through some of this stuff in here. Of course, there is Israel and other things that are out there taking our attention. So there's a lot of news to get to. Let's get to more of that news. Although this one, pretty much more or less just a bug in my bonnet, a bee in my bonnet, a bug in my craw, however you want to say it, because let me back up with some color. I was listening to Sirius XM radio one day about 2 weeks ago, and they were talking about a list by Rolling Stone that was the best guitar players of all time, and they were complaining about the fact that Joan Jett was ahead of guys like Eddie Van Halen. Joan Jett was in the top 10, and Eddie was somewhere around 50 or something like that. That may not be the exact number. But there was all these other massively great guitar players, air quotes, who were better than Joan Jett, in his opinion, that didn't get the rankings there. Here's an issue where the rankings matter to somebody because it's going to sell some magazines, but where are the numbers coming from? Here's what I'm complaining about. Billboard names Nicki Minaj's Super Bass and Tupac's California Love as the top rap hits of all time, in the best 500 best pop songs list. I guess they're best pop songs because they made the pop rankings, but it's not the message, it's not the breaks, it's not the vapors, it's not even I Get Around or Dear Mama. It's Super Bass and California Love. Your mileage will definitely vary. We're going to check out this list and basically tear it apart. I already put in some of my other postings, my other platforms, or my other groups to have people kind of tear this thing apart. We'll see what they're saying about this one. It's early, but we don't think that those two songs, although Tupac is great, I don't think California Love is going to be the one that comes up on top in the commentary. Let's stick to the hip-hop news, or actually the digging into details of the life of hip-hop news, and Cardi B, who hints at not pursuing her Tasha K defamation case. She has hinted at a change of course when she mentioned Tasha K's video update, to which the gossip blogger mostly recalled having, quote, aided in the world of tearing Cardi down. So she's sort of apologizing. Sort of. Cardi later explained that the tweet was caused by her feeling very overwhelmed at the time. She's probably going to not push for that really big settlement check that she's supposed to get from Tasha K because Tasha K has no money. So it's hard to get a check from someone who has no money, and she's basically breaking down and losing it, being Tasha K, with all the nastiness she put towards Cardi B in the suit, and of course losing the suit. So it looks like Cardi B is going to be the bigger woman here and kind of let it go. Oh, we shall see. Not big and a bigger dude in this one is Jake Tapper. As this headline reads, CNN, Jake Tapper rips Marjorie Taylor Greene. This comes from Mediaite, and there's more to the story. In fact, there is more to the story. In commentary on the closing on CNN State of the Union, which Jake Tapper is doing from Israel currently, basically calling out Greene for just being kind of a crazy anti-Semite. It's just all the stuff she's done, specifically since she's saying, we're down with Israel, but hangs out with Holocaust deniers like Nick Fuentes. Now, plenty of people hang out with Nick Fuentes, and plenty of people should be called out for hanging out with Holocaust deniers. Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, had the Jewish space laser thing and a whole replacement theory because, the Jews want to replace white Americans with blacks and brown Muslims, all going there. But she's down with Israel because she's down with Israel. He also dropped an S-bomb in his commentary live on CNN, but, the times we live in to talk about what's going on. It's what it is. It's who we be. It's how we do. And we deserve better. Meantime, we deserve better fans. UFC fans threaten to boycotts. That's because they pulled it from Daily Mail, so they do that big old boycott thing. The sport, after it announced a $105 million a year Bud Light sponsorship deal. Reading Not So Fundamental this morning, distracted by the big old capital letters and boycott, I guess. But the Daily Mail of the UK is talking about the fans, whoever they are out there, who want to boycott the UFC because of Bud Light's new sponsorship, $105 million a year for the deal. Basically, they're mad, the fans, those guys, because trans activist Dylan Mulvaney had the advertising campaign, like a year ago, and apparently the new, more non-woke-ish commercials showing dudes drinking beer, doing beer stuff, is not working. And so now that the beer folks are sponsoring the UFC, Bud Light popping in money there, it's about 87 pounds per year in UK money. People are just not dealing with it. So essentially saying, go woke, go broke. That's what's going to happen, you woke people. Now, here's where the headline and the punchline comes to this. UFC CEO Dana White, said that Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light were the original beer sponsors of UFC like 30 years ago. And he's kind of happy they're still with us, spending money to be a part of the sport they helped to build and want to promote across the world. And the fans can kind of go to hell. He didn't say go to hell. I think he said they're all stupid and go to hell. There's some combination of that one. But basically, Dana White's like, stop the BS, stop acting stupid, stop pretending like woke is an issue, drink the beer, watch the fights, stop being stupid. YouTube has announced it has around 1.5 million NFL Sunday Ticket subscribers. Yay! We'll lose $1.2 billion this season on the service. Boo. The problem with NFL Sunday Ticket is that it never made any money. It didn't make any money for DirecTV. It didn't bring people into DirecTV. But it, like many things out there, brings in headlines, brings in people knowledge. It seems like a thing. Sunday Ticket is actually a great thing to have. I have YouTube TV and considered getting Sunday Ticket, but didn't get it. Costs a lot of money for what I get and the time that I have to work with it because of my busy schedule right now. Building media, I don't have a lot of time to deal with the Sunday Ticket media and buy those specific games. Red Zone's a great thing to have to watch things, and Sirius XM, listening to the games as they give you. They have a channel that does the every time they get hit to do a score, to do things like that, and watching bits and pieces of full games as I can goes wrong. I'm not sure Sunday Ticket really is the gem it should be because I think it could be, but obviously not making money ever. Not making money for YouTube TV, but sometimes it's not about making money. It's about making headlines and proving you're around, and we'll see how it goes there. Let's pile on Governor Huckabee Sanders again. This headline now national news as it's become a national story. Arkansas governor's $19,000 lectern, not a podium, remains out of sight, but not out of mind with audit underway. There's an audit going on right now on the governor's finances, and this all came about from essentially overpaying for a trip to France. Maybe overpaying because she went on a tour that was supposed to be a business trip, but maybe took her kids to Euro Disney and paid for it on taxpayer funds. Or maybe not paid it for taxpayer funds, but maybe overpaid because she gets state security, and state security probably overpaid for security for the trip. In the meantime, we found this thing out, the $19,000 lectern, not a podium, that was paid for before the beginning of a fiscal year, but not delivered when it was paid for, and no one's seen it in the months we've been joking about this. This is real deal serious issues from a person that many people were worried didn't have the qualifications to be governor, and so far as governor is kind of showing that. However, we will see or not see the lectern very soon. I'm sure it's going to be on the not see very, very soon. Adam Silver says the decline of cable disproportionately impacted NBA. Now, we talked about DirecTV and the Sunday Ticket, how that's supposed to be building in for people making football money, and it's not. The decline of cable TV, where most people watch their games because they could make them and you turn it on and something was on, has disproportionately impacted the NBA, says the commissioner of the NBA, because there's 65 million homes out there who consume sports in a traditional way, but because it's not traditionally covered anymore, it's hard to pick it up. While there's plenty of negotiations for TV rights for ESPN and TNT, one of the rights going to a lot of things are the streaming rights. The cable rights aren't so much a thing because the streamers are getting first dibs on a lot of things. If you watch streaming TV on the weekends, you see all the games, all the college games popping up on your streamer and not necessarily in order for your actual broadcast TV. So you can see what you want to see and kind of pick what you want to. It's one of the things that is the realities of what's going on, and picking up games on TV, on cable, where most people sort of traditionally got that, as opposed to on paying for the NBA Sunday Ticket version, the DirecTV version of that one, is not working out so well. He's everyone's hero. Ketel Marte wins free tacos for America in the annual Taco Bell World Series promotion. 2 games into the World Series. Game doesn't matter. Scores don't matter. Who's going to win doesn't matter. Ketel Marte stole second base in Game 1 of the World Series against the Texas Rangers, and Taco Bell will give away a free Doritos Locos taco to every eligible fan between now November the 6th. Check out the details for how to get that. The steal, the taco. We're all winners. And finally, we're going to do actually 3 deaths for the weekend. Starting off with Matthew Perry, the Friends actor, dying at the age of 54, found in his hot tub late on Saturday. Still looking for the actual cause of death in this situation. We will find out soon, hopefully soon, what's going on there. Apparently, he was doing fine. And the only thing that may seem sort of odd was last week he posted a picture of himself on Instagram in his hot tub. And that's all we have on that one. So there's a lot of love coming out for the star of Friends and various other things, including a lot of talk about his addictions in his book and things he worked through in his life. Also, the passing of Richard Moll, who was found fame as the bailiff of the Night Court and other great things. He was the voice of Two-Face in the Batman the Animated Series. We lost 3 big names from that series in the last 12 months. Of the actual Batman, we lost Harley Quinn, and of course Two-Face, Richard Moll, as that show is 30 years old, by the way, as well. Lots of love going out to the 80-year-old comedian, of love coming out from his sitcom stars from Night Court and from just folks who worked with him along the way. And a very quick drop on ice hockey player Adam Johnson, the former NHL player who died in what's called a freak accident during a game, basically sliced by a blade in a hockey game playing overseas. And that's a very, very freak accident. He was under 30 years old, so that's very, very sad of this happening. I want to make sure that got into there. So technically that's our 12th story when we normally do 10 for the morning. A little long this morning. Apologies for that. So that's our main apology. The other apologies, not really. We're not really apologizing for anything going on. We wanted to get in on those stories. No errors really to announce, but we do have omissions to make this even longer. We're omitting Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift again, even though they're like taking over the world. And we have a separate story for each because they could have taken up even more time. Travis Kelce's latest play is a line of food dishes, including barbecue brisket sold at Walmart. Kelce making money on his own. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift achieves billionaire status pretty much from her music. She does a bunch of other stuff. She has endorsements. She has posters. She's in movies, but that's music as well. And all her music, all her tours, all her money is coming from the music, and she's hitting that billionaire status. Congratulations to Taylor and to Travis. Hopefully you guys are going to do well, very well, because you're all really all pretty cute together, even with all the craziness. Let's take a break from the headlines to talk about how you can get into the headlines, how you can make us talk about the things you want to talk about. Because it's simple. We talk about the things you tell us to talk about every single weekday morning and for the weekends, for the weekend shows. And it's done via our feeds. Our feeds are our links on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project and Twitter or the X.com/TH_conversation. Every 50 minutes or so, we post news stories across the spans for you to engage in. Over 90 stories for the weekend for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a little bit of Monday, to pull 30 stories, the top 30 stories in engagement, and pull from them technically 11 stories, but technically 12 stories. Normally it's supposed to only 10 stories for a Monday. Will this story be one we talk about come tomorrow, Tuesday, where we'll pull from top 15 of a little over 30. So basically we have a half a chance of getting in there. Will we talk about this one? Please take control of Russian Dagestan airport after anti-Israel protests. This is a kind of oldish story, but it's newer to us as we're posting it now. You can see it in your feeds if you go there right now. The anti-Israel protest is a big movement. People have reasons to protest Israel, and they do. People don't have the reason to protest as violently as they're doing, but they are. And literally an airport where a Israeli plane was landing in the airport in Russia had to shut down the terminal because essentially people rushed the airplane, rushed the terminal because they were protesting the Israelis. It is kind of crazy going on out there in the world. These streets are getting really, really rough. We'll be talking about this story for tomorrow, a Tuesday edition of Things You Might Have Heard. We shall see if you vote this up in your engagement. Simply like it, love it, hate it, share it. The more engagement the story gets, the better chance we have of talking about it on tomorrow. We're going to talk about right now one of our favorite sponsors, that is Blinkist. And because we are so long on time today, put in extra stories, we're going to shorten the Blinkist app ad up a bit and just tell you the basis part of it, because that's what Blinkist is about. Blinkist is about reading big books really, really fast. A book that would take you 3-4 hours to read, or maybe a few days if it's one of those longer books, can be read in 15 minutes or as little as 45 minutes. That is either read via the blinks that are written out or listened to in audiobook form. Blinks are the pure pieces of information from every single book that's whittled down to what you need to see. Plus, they have links to full books if you want to go to bigger detail that's there. You can also share the love of quick books and quick learning with the Blinkist app, with Blinkist Spaces. People don't have to have the app, but you can share it with them and enjoy these short books. Check it out at our website, our affiliate link. This is a conversationproject.com/Blinkist. This is a conversationproject.com/Blinkist for your chance to get in the app. This is an affiliate link. So once you actually add the app and keep it for 7 days, we get a bit back for letting you join in the family. And you want to be a part of this family, trust me, for Blinkist. Just like you're part of the family at the Conversation Project. Our home, you can hang out with us at the Conversation Project's website. This is a conversationproject.com. Check us out for great things out there, including this thing here. It comes out to you live at 5:50 a.m. every single weekday morning, plus replays, which you're probably actually watching around the way. We have people on live, so waving hi to folks who are watching me live, but we have the replays in video form and, of course, the audio podcast, trimming it up, and just the newsletter links, they're out there as well. Check it out. So get your day started, or middle day started, with some information on what people are thinking about, talking about, think are conversational with us. Follow us in the feeds and tell us what to talk about for the next day or next iteration of the things you might not have heard. Email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com so you can tell us what to do and how to do it sometimes. And sometimes they get really, really, really odd, but we listen. And of course, go to our partnerships page at our website and see if there are ways that we can join together and meld forces to be better people and to work on stuff for this thing. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We thank you in advance for all that you do for us. The free stuff is awesome. If you want to put in a little cheddar for the partnership stuff, we appreciate that well. But we just thank you in advance for giving us something to do, because literally, without you putting the words into my mouth, I don't have the words put into my mouth. So with that, we're going to wrap things up before we go too long on this morning and get into some funner stuff, which is not quite grammatically correct, but hey, I just said it, so we're doing it. Funner stuff for today. Starting off with birthdays for today. Happy birthday wishes going out to Ivanka Trump, who turns 42 years old on the day. Ivanka Trump going to be in the news this week as she's supposed to testify. I believe on Friday she's scheduled to testify in the trial in New York City on the defamation. No, this is not defamation. I get confused. This is on the fraud charges that may blow up the Trump organization. Trump may lose his actual business in the next couple of weeks. Trump is scheduled to actually testify come Monday. He's showing up for court because, it's his money. He says he's got campaigning to do and all this other stuff, but it's his money. So he's showing up and glaring at Michael Cohen and glaring at, I guess, his other guys and just sort of popping off and getting fined and things like that. But we'll see how this thing works out if he's going to be there glaring at Ivanka. Ivanka, one of the only people in the family not being charged because for some reason the statute of limitations is not out on her, and it might be because she was no longer working for a Trump organization, working for the White House specifically while in office. That's the only reason I can think this is, or she was doing something else, modeling or whatnot. Today in history, back in 1969, on the 30th of October, the first connection was made on what would become the internet. It took a while to get there, though. The first two computers linked were at UCLA and the Stanford Research Institute, a pair of Defense Department programs called the ARPANET. A part of the Defense Department program called the ARPANET. The ARPANET, the grandfather of the internet, if you will. Within about 10 years, 10 sites were connected. So it took 10 years to get the first 10 computers, 10 places connected via the ARPANET, and that's, of course, in 79, early ward planning type stuff. Nowadays, we're all connected and we can't get away, and it's probably for the worse, but it is. The ARPANET, born on this day in 1969. And today we celebrate Buy a Donut Day. Buy a Donut Day. Go ahead. It's pretty simple. It's an easy one. Buy a Donut Day. And Buy a Donut Day is what we celebrate because someone made it up. It's actually an appreciation of the Salvation Army volunteers. But yes, somebody sort of made it up into the donut part. The Salvation Army used to distribute donuts to servicemen during the First World War. They're, of course, fried circular pieces of dough that are usually topped with sugar, syrups, chocolate, nuts, and flavorings. And because there's a way to celebrate the Salvation Army for what they did back then, and for donut makers to make donuts and sell donuts, it's simple. You don't have to go out there and you don't have to necessarily donate anything. Just go buy a donut. It's that simple. Buying donuts. Buy a dozen. Buy some donut holes because they go really far very quickly. They're not expensive. Just go out there and enjoy yourself. And if you're on a diet, one little donut hole, one half a donut, it won't kill you. Celebrate. Have some fun. In the meantime, celebrate with us the fact we're wrapping up this edition of Things You Might Have Heard for Monday, October the 22nd. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. Thank you so much for being a part of the show with us today. Thank you so much for being a part of what we do every single day. We post news stories around the internets in various forms, including shorts on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts, which we do even on Sunday when we don't produce anything brand new, spanking new. We have new things out there. So check out what we have. We also have the weekend shows. We had a great edition this week talking about the problem with Jon Stewart in the story of the week and the weekly wrap up. And we're going to do it all again for the full week here. Monday is the first day of the week, so we're going to get things started. 5 days of this thing, great things for the weekend. You help us out by going to the feeds and engaging with the stories, so I know what stories to talk about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Top 15 stories are pulled. 8 of those stories will be in the headlines. Maybe 9. We may go rogue a few times. It's one of those weeks. In the meantime, make sure you're staying limber, staying hydrated, and staying on task for all the grand things you are here on the planet to perform. And I'm going to perform my way out of here because a little long today. Been working on the piffiness, and we went along with the extra stories. It felt like a day to do that, so we did that. We also had some little tweaks and things in today that you'll see all week long. Tell me what you think about them. Email me at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. In the meantime, be cool, be awesome, and be with us tomorrow for a Tuesday edition of Things You Might Not Have Heard.